All right. I just want to welcome everybody back to Mom and Dad Talks. And for those of you who do not know me, I have this is a Mother's Day edition, and I have two of my favorite moms here. Uh, Even though my mom, Hanty, I call her Hanty, she's the sister of my mom, and they did a great job raising me. And I look at it as it was a benefit, to have them all with me. So today's question is this, and it's very important because you guys did something unique that I think people need to understand. You guys, mom and dad, you didn't let me stay the night at everybody's house. I could only stay the night at certain people's houses. And I want you to explain a little bit of that philosophy. And Hanty, I want you to chime in too, because I just remember growing up, staying the night at Hanty's house. If anybody's other's house outside of my own, I would stay the night at her house. And the funny thing about it was, I felt like I was in the same house. And I thought that was so unique, where it was the same rules, the same things. And it felt like this is my other mom and dad, Uncle Frank. And so I think that's important. So explain to everyone the significance of that. And I'm going to start with you, mom and dad here, and then we're going to have Hanty's opinion. Okay, go.
We wanted to make sure that the people that you stayed with had the same core values we did, had the same values, that we knew who they were, what habits they had, and that we had the same philosophy of raising children.
My experience with spending the night was when I was growing up. I'm following the same pattern that my mother had. And she said, even though you did not have any sisters and brothers, Todd, I felt like Carlin was you and Carlin were perfect brothers. So I did not feel comfortable about letting you go to anybody else's home to spend the night. My mother said, well, you have brothers and sisters. You don't need to go to anybody's house to go spend the night. So of course I didn't argue with her. So I trusted her, and it was a good thing for me, because I followed that same pattern with you.
Hanty, what was that like?
I trusted my sister for you to go to her.
So, Hanty, what was that like? I want to hear your side.
Well, it's strange that you would ask that, and Myrna and I have not rehearsed this. So when she started just now, going back to the way we were raised, there was the conclusion right there. We were raised in the same home, and my mother was a teacher, so what she taught she taught right on down the line. May not have gotten it, but she taught it. She had the same concept with one child as she did with 5, mostly. And so when Myrna started out, we were raised that way. And it wasn't something that, like I said in the beginning, we didn't rehearse this. We didn't know what to rehearse. There was no rehearsal needed. It was a coming of the minds at an early age that enabled us to let it flow to our children in bringing them up. If Carlin were on the line, he'd probably say the same thing. He didn't go to anybody else's house. If he did, it was to Todd, and I think he wrote a couple of weeks ago, Carlin, he thought his name was Carlin and Todd.
Yes.
Okay. And that's understandable, because when we did something, if we made one a suit, made another a suit. I remember some little leisure suits I made you all.
Yes.
It was a Carlin and Todd suit, and both of you had one. And so that's the way it was through life. And I think back to my grandmother. I believe that was her concept. Mm-hmm. Y'all don't need to go nobody else's house. You got 11 of y'all right here.
And I just think that's such a significant value, because Dad, you didn't kind of grow up like that, or did you?
I grew up pretty much the same thing. I had the only people whose house I stayed at were my relatives' house. Uncle Fonzo, Aunt Theron, Aunt Corbell. Those were the houses I stayed at. Anyone else? Don't even ask.
You know, and so it's funny how
The answer would be no.
you know, it's just funny how all of this came together. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's an added value to know why, and the value system. Like I said, the houses were the same. I didn't see any difference in, you know. Yeah, I couldn't jump on the furniture at my mom's house. I couldn't jump on the furniture at Hanty's house either. And I would not even dare to think of doing anything outside the rules. And that's how you guys were connected. And I think a lot of times people don't understand the value that when your child is influenced by outside sources or even inside sources, that it plays a big value in your raising. What you all think?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Definitely.
does.
Yeah.
I agree with that. In that some of the things that are going on right now, it's in your blood.
Mm.
It's in your DNA. You can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it is. And you know, I just marvel at, you know, what the Lord has allowed us as parents. We had never been parents before.
No.
So when it did come along, it was like, okay, this is what Mama said. And I know I know I have a lot of Lawrence in me. I wish Aunt Welda were on so that she could, you know, back up some of this.
We're going to have to bring Aunt Welda on next week because I want to continue on with this discussion. I think it's so important because, like I said, that value system and making sure your child is in the same value system in other families is so important. And you know, I'll ask one more question, and then we'll, you know,
before you ask your question,
yes.
I'd like to back up when you and Carlin were babies. It was very important that we made sure that you all were blessed by a pastor, an elder, and I put all of my, you know, trust in the word. When you have a baby blessed, the Lord is going to bless that child and going to carry it all the way through. And I've watched the way you and Carlin were blessed on the very same Sabbath together by Elder Butler in the lodge hall. You were like 3 months old. Carlin was like 6 months old. But that blessing of a child is so important in their upbringing and where they're going to be headed. And it is amazing how God has blessed you and Carlin in the same way.
And Elder Butler was the same pastor that married us.
Ooh, bonus round. You know, well, you know, folk, I enjoyed this so much, and I hope you all enjoy it too. We're gonna hopefully have Aunt Welda, which is my great aunt, my mom and aunt's aunt, and of course my dad's aunt, great aunt too. I mean, I got great aunt, but aunt too, to discuss more about family. And thank you all so much today. I just enjoy it. I love you. Every time I see you, I smile. You know, you have fond memories, and that's what we want to do. We want to create families that have fond memories of childhoods growing up. So thank you all so much for being so polite today. And this will be out very soon. Love you.
Okay. All right.